Alright guys, I'm Everything Anime. Let's talk anime. So today I'm going to be showing you guys the top 30 One Piece characters. I know this is obviously different, but I'm Everything Anime, so let's hop into it. I just did whip this up with some Google Slides stuff, so it's not gonna, the images aren't gonna look that great, but you know. Okay, it's not like all of the work and effort in the world has gone into this, but still, I'm somewhat proud of it. I'm actually pretty proud of it, though. Like, it's not bad, I guess. At least it's a list, guys. Come on. Alright. This is just the cover page. And I tried to get the images where they look cool, but sometimes there's just like a ton of energy going around, so you can't see. Sorry. This is, so in 30th place, we have, Captain Kidd. Kidd is, he's a part of the top 3 worst, well, maybe top 4, I think top 4 worst generation, because Zoro is also in the worst generation, and I consider him to be stronger than Kidd. But anyways, so he's in the top 4 worst generation, which is in itself very impressive. Well, actually, most of the people that aren't in the top 4 are pretty weak. Actually, is he in the top 5? Because, well, I'm not considering Egghead feats because the arc is not over in the anime. So, just so you know, I'm slapping that out there. And also, we are, unlike some other lists, we are including dead characters and characters we don't know a lot about, okay? Just based off of, like, things that we've heard. So, anyways, Kidd was able to fight with Law and beat Big Mom in Kaido, in Wano. So that in itself is a feat. But he did it with Law, so, like, you know, it wasn't as big of a feat as it normally would be. But also, he is probably the most aggressive out of the worst generation, out of the strong people in the worst generation. So that's something. So he has aggression, which is like which can be good in a lot of situations, but in a lot of situations it's not good. But in a fight, that's when you want aggression, but you also do want to be calm. So his battle IQ is low, but his strength makes up for that fully, because he does have physical strength. You can see his muscles right here. But his magnet fruit, well, I think that's what it's called, it can bring metal together to make objects, like with his Slam Gibson and his Punk Gibson. Punk Gibson was able to damage Big Mom significantly, which is insane because Big Mom is one of the OG for Yonko, and is power scaled right next to Kaido a lot of the time. And Kaido, as we know from watching Wano, if you haven't watched Wano, this is like all spoilers. But we know that him being able to, well, okay, so he beat Big Mom with Law. I feel like Law did do better in that fight than Kidd. Probably because Law is smarter and knows how his ability works better. But also, Kidd was at least doing like 40% of the work in that fight. And he was mainly offense. Law was like on the support. Like if you guys have seen Black Clover, it's like Law was kind of acting as a character, sort of like Vanessa, with Finral and Vanessa supporting Luffy. Luffy. I'm so stupid. supporting Asta in that fight. Law was acting as a support character, but at the same time, he was acting as an offense character. I'm not going too much into Law, but Kid was the man doing most of the damage in that fight. Law was doing more work, but Kid was doing more offensive damage. So, yeah, I've probably just spoiled, probably 3 characters on the list. But, yeah, next up, in 29th place, we have Yamato. So, Yamato is not completely dumb. She's not smart, I guess. She's not like Zoro IQ. I know Zoro's not smart, but he has high battle IQ. Yamato is actually a very experienced fighter with her good attacks being like a white serpent. That was really well animated, actually. That was probably just brings it up a lot, the animation. Also, when she turns into her fox thing, I forget what it's called. But when she gets into her awakened state of her devil fruit, it boosts her attack speed. I think she made an ice thing one time with that. So her powers definitely go hand in hand with Yamato if outside of her powers. So yeah, Yamato is very strong. She fought Kaido for 2 episodes straight, and it was pretty cool until Snake Man Luffy interfered. But yeah. Next up, 28th, we have King. I don't know. People could debate that Yamato is stronger than King, but I think not, because, well, I think I gotta use Zoro a little bit for this power scaling. So Zoro is Luffy's number 2. She was fighting Kaido, but she was not doing damage. This guy was probably considered to be at least 35% of Kaido's strength. She was holding on, but against Kaido, but Zoro was beating him, which is probably harder than just living against Kaido, because King, I know he's obviously nothing to what am I saying? And King being the number 2 beaten by Zoro is obviously nothing to scoff at, because it needed Zoro. I doubt Sanji would have won that fight. I could maybe make a video on that sometime soon, but I doubt Sanji could beat him in a fight. And Sanji and Zoro actually, Zoro and Sanji are really close in strength, where he probably could. But still, I bet that Yamato would lose to King. Would lose to King in a fight, because Yamato is a versatile. Because Yamato is a not versatile fighter. She's more of a strength user, and King actually has speed feats and durability feats and strength feats and an amazing devil fruit. Well, they both have amazing devil fruits, but yeah. So Zoro could beat King, and Yamato could just hold off Kaido. I think that Zoro beating King is a bigger feat, so King being higher is the conclusion that I've come to. Well, I spoiled the next character, which is 27th on the list, which is Doflamingo. The Luffy versus the Luffy and Law versus Doflamingo fight was, Doflamingo was soloing both of those two for a long time until he nimbled it down to just Luffy, which needed to unlock Gear 4 for that fight. And Gear 4 is a huge upgrade from Gear 3. It is a completely different power. And Luffy needed to awaken that to fight Doflamingo. Now, I know he has all of these crazy abilities. He can like clone himself. He can control people basically. He can make the bird cage, which is insane. The 16 holy bullets are extremely strong, and his devil fruit. He has a devil fruit that is awakened. He can turn everything around him into string and use it as his own weapon. Like, imagine fighting against somebody that controls all of the land that he has touched. It's just insane. He's still almost won against Luffy. He has Conqueror's Haki and uses it very well against Luffy. Alright. 26th, I think. Wait. 30th, 29th, 27th, 26th. Wait, what? 30, 29, 28. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Yeah, I was right. 26th, we have Katakuri. Also has an awakened devil fruit. I would consider him to be the main villain of Whole Cake Island, even though Big Mom was like his was his superior. Katakuri was more there than Big Mom. Big Mom was kind of just the big bad at the end that they can't fight yet. So as you can see here, he has Conqueror's Haki. He has amazing advanced observation Haki, and he has pretty good armament Haki. Okay, so that's his Haki feats. He was going toe to toe with Luffy for 7 hours, and his endurance is insane. Also, because we didn't even see Katakuri fight very while he was because he had stabbed himself in a very painful spot. So it's just, yeah, in a bad place to stab yourself in. So his amazing feats against Luffy wasn't even at his strongest. Also, am I going blank? Oh, he has an awakened devil fruit, which is kind of works the same as Dofi's. He basically has all of Luffy's powers, but he's just one step ahead. Well, he's just better at it than Luffy. That's the whole point of that fight. That's kind of what the fight is. Okay. Alright. In 25th spot, we have Sanji. Sanji is obviously a part of Joma 66, which is which obviously has his exoskeleton. He is the blue flame. He is Diable. I forget the Diable Jambe, but it's the blue one. I forget what it's called. Forget what it's called, but he has the blue flames, as you can see here. The exoskeleton, which is amazing. The suit he doesn't need. I think it actually might make him weaker because he's less flexible, and that's kind of his whole thing. His speed feats are impeccable, just because he's mainly a foot user guy. So he's trained his speed a lot. So there's that. He has the skywalk, so he could obviously basically just fly. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I mean, he's fought so many people. Who should I go over, I guess? I mean, against Queen, I guess. Queen has all these high-tech machinery things, and Sanji is able to dodge these with ease. The only things that really get to him in that fight was when Queen was using so many of them at the same time. And his speed feats are just amazing. In what's another arc that he had some good displays in? I mean, in Whole Cake, he was fighting Luffy. Luffy was obviously holding back because it's Sanji, but he was able to do a lot of damage onto Luffy, which normally has, like, really good durability because of the Gum Gum Fruit. And he was still able to do a lot of damage to Luffy in that fight. In, I guess, Enies Lobby against Jabra, he was able to, well, I guess we're going really before his prime, but against Jabra, he beat Jabra with ease while Zoro is struggling against Kaku, which is only, like, I think 1 rank above Jabra. Well, I guess the gap was pretty big, but, you know. Alright, as you saw earlier, 24th, Zoro and Sanji are not equal in strength. Zoro is only slightly stronger than Sanji in strength, but still, stronger is stronger. He beat King, which obviously has high durability, high speed, high strength, a lot of things, but he still beat him with the King of Hell. So, and, like, he was able to find this one, like, 3-second gap where he didn't have the flames, and he was so fast about it. 3-sword style, we know the drill. What else? What other good feats does he have? Again, Enies Lobby, he beat Kaku, which is the second in command, because, I mean, he's always fighting those second in commands, but, Kaku was not weak. He was like the 4-sword style, because he had the 2 swords, and then he had his legs, which was weird. Okay, 23rd, we got Law. Loom is just overpowered. Healing, teleporting, chucking rocks. The Blackbeard fight, which was an Egghead, but he was, like, going toe-to-toe with Blackbeard and Van Augur at the same time. Now, Blackbeard was not going all out, but still, this is a very good feat for someone like Law, because he's also a healer, also a supporter, and an offense. So, he's super well all around. His Devil Fruit is amazing. So, yeah. Next, person, 24th, 23rd, 22nd, we got Kizaru. And, Kizaru's just, he's a Navy Admiral. We can start with that. And he is faster than the speed of light. I rank him slightly higher than Law, even though Law can teleport, because he needs to save room. He needs to walk into the room. Well, I guess he could just expand it, but still, the room needs to expand. He's faster than Law. I don't need. This is kind of comparing characters to other characters. So he's really fast. He has a Logia. He can create a light sword, as we saw in Sabaody. He was keeping up with none other than Silver's Rayleigh, obviously out of prime, but it's still Silver's Rayleigh, the second in command to the Pirate King. He fought Luffy and Egghead and obviously lost, but that was Gear 5 Luffy we're talking about, so Kizaru was nothing to scoff at, although he is the weakest of the Navy Admirals. Well, the weakest of the OG Navy Admirals, because I think Greenbill is not on this list. And right above him, in 21st, we have Fujitora. Fujitora has the gravity. Even though Kizaru is obviously faster, he can stop him with some gravity stuff. Fujitora has just an amazing power with his gravity fruit. So he was. I mean, he's blind, but that does not stop him because of his observation hockey, which is amazing. He can like bring meteors down. So, yeah, he could definitely beat Dofi while they were in that arc. So we don't have a lot to go off of, but he argues with the Kainu as if he's not scared, even though he would probably lose in a fight. He would probably lose in a fight, but that means that his strength is still very high. In 20th place, we have Odin. Odin gave Kaido a giant scar, which is obviously a feat that nobody should ever scoff at, because, I mean, it's Kaido, guys. Like, the guy that took Luffy a 5th gear to beat. His armament hockey is amazing and truly is and never will be somebody that is forgotten, because I remember in that flashback he just destroyed that giant boar. He led all of the 9 red scabbards, scabbards, that sounds right. It's been a while since I've watched Wano, so yeah. Next up, we have 19th, which is Sengoku. Sengoku was the former fleet admiral with pre-time skip, and he obviously has the human fruit model Buddha, so he becomes this golden Buddha and becomes extremely physically strong, but also he is fast for this size. He is very overwhelming because of his size also in this. He has a high battle IQ, but we haven't seen much from him outside of Marineford. So yeah, next up in 18th place we have Aokiji. I consider Aokiji to be stronger than Sengoku because Sengoku he fought Akainu on Punk Hazard for 9 days straight and didn't die, which is extremely surprising. I mean, not surprising, but extremely an amazing feat that not a lot of characters could do. Obviously, the characters above him could, and some of the characters below him, maybe. I bet Katakuri could, because he is known for his endurance, but he would obviously probably die in that fight. But he could probably fight that for a while. But that's outside of the point. Ice Logia, one of the only devil fruits that has a counter to water. He was able to absolutely demolish the Straw Hat crew at the end of Long Land arc. So, you know, it's just an extremely strong character. Went up against a Kainu for a long time. So, in 17th, we have none other, the one, the only, Monkey D. Luffy. Obviously, Gear 5 mode, extremely strong, beat Rob Lucci, which is probably, why is that the first thing that I think of? He beat Kaido, and he was, laughing it off, but, Kaido had already been extremely hurt, so he would've, he wasn't in his prime anymore. He got beat up by Odin, he had already fought in, Yamato, he had fought in Luffy before, he had fought in Zoro, Kid, Killer, and Law. So, he was obviously worn down and not in his prime anymore. Though still, he beat Kaido. It's just insane. Okay. So, 16th, we got Donk E. Kong. We know next to nothing about Kong, but we do know that he was the fleet admiral 30 years ago before Sengoku. And I think they said he was fighting against Rocks, the Rocks pirate crew, and also was at the what's it called? The Pirate Island incident. Not the Pirate Island incident. You know what I'm talking about. He was at the big incident thing, and he was going toe to toe with monsters like Kaido and Big Mom. I think that's how it went down, at least. Also, just I also kind of put him in a spot between Akainu and Sengoku because we don't know not a lot about him. Okay, in 15th spot we have Big Mom herself. Obviously ranked next to Kaido a lot. With her League of 3,000 somethings or something. That sounds right. But that power with her soul-sucking fruit. Like, how do you get past that unless you're not afraid? So just, I mean, the people above her aren't afraid. That's how they got there. But Big Mom almost beat Kid and Law. Was able to beat Gear 4 Luffy with ease, and on her tantrums, she would destroy islands with ease. She was also at that incident where Kong was, and she gave Kaido his devil fruit. Without Big Mom, Kaido would be nothing, or would be not what he is today. Speaking of Kaido, in 14th spot we have Kaido. This is obviously his flame dragon torch form, because that's arguably his strongest form. So, yeah. Obviously just Kaido, endurance. No, not endurance. Well, endurance is high, but also durability, highest we've seen in the show, probably. He did get beaten by Luffy, but still, he was not in his prime, and he was already extremely worn down from all of the other fights he had been doing earlier that day. He was doing this while carrying Onigashima. So, he's strong, and he was doing it with he was almost beating Luffy with not even all of his strength. He actually did kill Luffy, but then Gear 5 woke him back up. He killed the main character. Just, take that in for a second. This guy's a monster. He was also at the incident, as now we're calling it. We're calling it now. He was a part of the Fox Pirate, so was Big Mom. Obviously, you need to be extremely strong to be on that crew, or extremely useful. With Kaido, it's probably strong, not useful, even though he can be useful in situations. But number 13, Akainu. I said Akainu was stronger than Aokiji. Akainu is obviously has better flames than Kaido, and could probably envelop him in magma. Envelop. That's just, I don't even know if that's a real word. Could probably coat Kaido in magma and find a way to beat Kaido. But all of that aside, he killed Ace. Obviously magma through Logia. Killed Whitebeard, which is obviously a legend. He wasn't in his prime, but still. Just extremely strong. Killed Whitebeard, killed Ace. Went obviously fought Aokiji for 9 days straight on Punk Hazard, and won. With little to no permanent damage. So, yeah, he's usually at his office and his desk. So we don't really know a lot about him outside of Marineford. So yeah. Number 14, 13. Number 12, Blackbeard. So Blackbeard has the Dark fruit, which is probably the strongest devil fruit there is. And the Quake fruit. Quake fruit. So the Dark fruit is obviously a Logia. It steals other powers. Well, it doesn't steal it, but it negates other powers. So, off the bat, extremely strong. He's not very strong himself, but his devil fruits are, because the Quake fruit is very just straight to the point, bam, strong. And the Logia is a Logia, and it negates all the other powers. There's like all the theories about him being 3 people. Well, actually, I think in the manga, they'd actually said he was born with 3 heads and kind of is 3 people. But yeah. So, number 11, Silver's Rayleigh. Rayleigh could obviously be Blackbeard because he doesn't have a devil fruit and he has nothing to lose. Probably hockey good. Probably has conquerors. But we don't know a lot about him outside of Sabaody. In Sabaody, he was going toe-to-toe with Kizaru outside of his prime and probably would have beaten Kizaru. So, yeah, also, obviously, second in command to the Pirate King. And trained Luffy so he could be that strong when the time skip hit. So, 10th spot, Mihawk. There were a bunch of theories about him being Rayleigh's son. And in a lot of cases, the new generation has surpassed the old. So, yeah. I mean, that's obviously just a theory, so, But Mihawk is the rival of Shanks, which is obviously really strong because, he's obviously the best swordsman in the world. Zoro wants to beat him, and that's his dream, is to be the best swordsman in the world. To do that, he needs to beat him, even though he's not the best swordsman on this list. But he trained Zoro for the 2 years and the time skip. And I mean, yeah. So that happened. Alright, next up in 9th place we have the man we were just talking about, I think, Shanks. So Shanks, obviously, he was the rival to Mihawk. His hockey's amazing. He has conquerors. He has amazing observation, probably, from when he that sea serpent in the beginning. I know he lost his arm, but to just a measly sea beast. But he was capable of destroying that thing. Obviously, pretty good swordsman, but his strength does not come from him being a good swordsman. It comes from his hockey. We don't have a lot to go off of at the current point in the story, but let's move on to number 8. Garp. Garp with the new I guess his ability Galaxy Impact, and what's the other one called? I forget what it's called, but he is the Galaxy Impact, which is really strong. He's super fast, super strong, even at this old age. Went toe-to-toe with Rox, even though he needed to team up with Roger. Still, that's a feat. A big feat, because Rox is extremely strong and mysterious. We don't, again, like a lot of these characters up here, we don't have a lot to go off of, but still, he's extremely strong. He was at the incident. So, he was just very strong. Especially physically. And this is outside of his prime. In his prime, he was even more of a beast. Well, number 7, Dragon. Dragon is also an extremely good fighter. Well, we don't know a lot about him, but he probably has a wind fruit. maybe even a god flute like Luffy. He can make really strong gusts of wind, but that's all we know at this point. So Number 6, Whitebeard. Whitebeard almost beat a Kainu out he was extremely old, and even in his old age he was extremely strong. That's what I just said. But in his prime he was another beast. He was almost as strong as Roger. He was so close to being as strong as Roger, but I don't think he was there yet. His hockey's amazing. His obviously I think he's like a giant, because no way he grew to be that tall, but that's besides the point. He has one of the biggest crews there is in the show. I think he might have the biggest crew, and the way they know that is because they have so much trust in him, because Whitebeard is so strong, going toe to toe with the likes of the Pirate King, like Roger in 5th place. Roger also has amazing hockey. He obviously is the Pirate King, found the One Piece. We don't have a lot to go off of, like most of these characters. But yeah. 4th place, Rox the Zebek. So, Roger, he's probably like 40% stronger than Roger. Like, Roger is like 60% of Rox's strength, is probably how I'd put it, because he needed Garp and Roger to beat Rox. Both of them in their prime, with all of their abilities, both getting extremely damaged by that fight. So Rox is just another monster. And now we don't know a lot about him. He was at the incident. Oh my god. So now, the top 3. In 3rd place, we have Ryuma, the best swordsman ever in the One Piece universe. We don't know a lot about him. We knew that he could one-shot dragons with just a swipe of his sword. Yeah, that's like all we know. And if those dragons were Kaido level, then ooh. 2nd place, Emu. There are a lot of theories about Emu. We know next to nothing. He or she is the ruler of the world, and who sits at the throne where no one sits but the king of the world, and there is no king of the world until you know about Emu, because Emu is Emu. There were a bunch of theories about him having the water fruit and making it, and the reason that devil fruits are water beats devil fruit is because Emu has the water fruit and he makes that way. But it's just a theory. I don't know why I went into that. But we know next to nothing about him. He was at the Reverie. So yeah. In 1st place, drum roll please, Joy Boy. We all saw it coming. So Joy Boy obviously is just Luffy, but he's like a billion times better. Well, not a billion obviously, but like a lot better. He's just Luffy, but call Gear 5 Joy Boy's Gear 1. That's the strength that I would consider Joy Boy to be at. We know next to nothing about him, but still, yeah. If Kaido wants to be Joy Boy and he thinks that that's out of his grasp, then you just know that you can't be somebody else. But if he wants to be the same strength as Joy Boy and he knows that that's completely out of his reach, you know this guy is strong. Well, I probably could have said that about so many of the other characters, but this guy, nobody knows about him, and everybody knows about him. No, I don't know. Nobody knows it. Not a lot of people know about him, but those who do know about him know that he is the strongest that there is. The strongest. So, anyways, guys, that's my top 30 list. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's different with the anime content, so I hope you enjoyed this new type of content. I know the image, it was just looking at images, and I know they were kind of distorted, but I hope you enjoy. I will see you in the next one. Please like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and I will see you